Good morning. I'm CBS News Philadelphia meteorologist Grant Gilmore. Tracking severe weather beginning to roll into some of our southwestern counties. Out through western Chester County, a severe thunderstorm warning 11:30, but immediately behind that, a tornado warning for Lancaster County that runs until 11:15. This storm is moving quickly to the east. We've got some damaging winds up to around 60 miles per hour with this, and even some large hail. That large hail could be up to the size of a quarter, so that could cause some damage. Let me show you where this storm is tracking here. I want to make sure you have an idea of when this storm could arrive if you are in the path of this storm. So it's tracking to the east northeast, again around 30 miles per hour. So Wilmington, it'll clip just the northern area of Wilmington right around 11:49, heading right toward the Philly airport around 12:18, and then it looks like it moves close to Center City. We'll see how close it tracks depending on how it develops as it moves to the east, but right around 12:25, if it continues at that east northeasterly heading right around 30 miles per hour. There are some storms moving through the Philly area up towards northern Philadelphia into Abington right now. That will continue to track up towards Trenton. This is not severe, though you will get some pockets of heavy rain, some thunder and lightning. That severe threat is back to the south and west. Also South Jersey, a couple of stronger storms moving through. Nothing severe right now, but the entire area, South Jersey, most of Delaware, and even now, of course, into southeastern Pennsylvania, Chester County, up into Philly, Bucks County, Montgomery County. I think we do see a chance for some of these stronger storms to roll through. Primary threats are going to be damaging winds and hail, though we are finding that little bit of rotation within that cell moving into western Lancaster County, or rather eastern Lancaster County into western Chester County right now. Storm threats, yeah, I think the heaviest threat's going to be that heavy rainfall, damaging winds, some large hail, and that very brief chance for a tornado. The timing of all this is going to be over the next few hours. It moves quickly to the east. I think after around 3 o'clock, most of the storms should begin to clear, but still between now and then, some of these storms could be a little on the strong to severe side. Again, moving through the Philadelphia area between 11, 12, 1 o'clock. It then continues to push to the east, and then we'll likely begin to see everything clear out as we head into the mid-afternoon hours. I want to bring you back to that severe thunderstorm warning for Chester County. Again, that Chester County severe thunderstorm warning will go for the next 30 minutes or so. We're tracking that cell moving in behind it that has a little bit of rotation that produced that tornado warning for Lancaster County. So we'll continue to track this. If any of this tornado threat moves into Chester County, we'll make sure to break back in with you. We'll have team coverage coming up at noon right here on CBS Philadelphia and CBSPhiladelphia.com. A lot of coverage for you. Stay with us. We'll keep you safe as we head through the rest of the day.
Morning, everyone. I'm Jim Donovan. We're coming on the air with some breaking weather alerts. Let's get right over to meteorologist Grant Gilmore.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, tornado warning just coming down for Berks and Chester counties. So these are right near Honeybrook. We have got some hail within this, but the main concern with this is going to be that threat for a tornado on the ground. I know a lot going on right now, but it's that red polygon. That is the area that is underneath that concern for a tornado that could be on the ground. So the storm is tracking to the northeast at around 30 to 35 miles per hour. So if you're in the West Colne area or up towards Honeybrook, I think you're under the gun right now. Get to that safe place. We always say get to that innermost room within the building that you're in. Get as far away from the outside as possible. And then if you're anywhere up to the north and east of this, of course, get into your safe place as well. Let me put a track on this storm here. Let me show you where we're looking at the potential for this storm to go. Looking like it moves into Cornwall around 11:20. And then up towards West Vincent by 11:31. So this tornado warning in effect until 11:45. This includes Chester County first, and then it'll head to the northeast up towards Berks County. And then we'll continue to see how it tracks from there. Let me zoom out. I want to show you a bigger picture so you get an idea of where the storm is tracking. We have other severe thunderstorm warnings around the area, but this cell right here is the one that has the most immediate concern for that potential for a tornado reaching the ground. Now, right now, what I'm showing you is this area right there, that white, that's where we see the hail, but those yellows and the reds and the oranges, that's the heavy rain, and wrapped up within that is that potential for that rotation that may be reaching down to the ground as a tornado. I'm going to turn on what we call the velocity mode. So this is the radar actually looking into the storm and measuring the direction of the wind speed, and that's how we're able to detect where that rotation could actually be producing a tornado. So right here, you've got The colors, the red colors, that's wind moving away from the radar site, which is back in New Jersey. And then you've got wind moving toward the radar site. So right there, that is our couplet right there. And it's tracking to the north and east. Pretty gusty winds here within this. We're looking at probably wind speeds estimated around 60 miles per hour or so. And when you have wind speeds moving in opposite directions that fast, that's when you have that potential for not just severe weather, but of course, you have that potential for a tornado reaching to the ground. Let me zoom out here. Let me show you what else is going on around the region, because this is just one of several other severe threats here. So again, there's our tornado warning, the tornado warning for Berks and Chester County. And then farther to the south and to the east, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Chester County. That runs until 11:30. So that tornado threat sort of preceding and taking priority over that larger threat of damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and large hail. Real quick, if you're tuning in along the shore as well, I just want to give you a quick note. We do also have a severe thunderstorm warning heading toward Atlantic County, or rather Atlantic City. And that's tracking to the northeast pretty quickly as well, around 25 miles per hour. And that severe thunderstorm warning will go until 11:45. Back to the tornado warning, which is why we're cutting in the programming right now. We're looking at that threat moving into West Marlboro currently. And West Marlboro, you're looking at very heavy rainfall, likely dealing with some hail, at least the size of a nickel, if not up to the size of a quarter. And then of course, we have that continued threat for that tornado warning, which is a little bit farther up to the north and west, moving from Chester County up into Berks County. Pottstown, you're just out of this tornado warning right now, though I'll say the rain is starting to fall. If you're in Pottstown, I would get to your safe place, get inside and hang out and wait for this storm to move through. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But again, that immediate threat, and you can almost see right now, you see that little notch going into that storm. That's where we're finding that rotation. And then on the backside, let me change the colors here of this arrow so you can see it a little bit better. On the backside is where we have that rotation and that wind coming in from the north, which would illustrate the possibility of that rotation. So we're looking at the potential. We haven't got any confirmation, but we have to assume that there's a tornado on the ground, right? So we haven't got any confirmation right now, but this is the rotation. This is the area just to the west or north of West Netmill right now. Meteorologist Kate Bilo standing by. Kate, I know you've been analyzing this as well on the side. Tell me what you're seeing from your end.
Yeah, Grant, we are continuing to monitor that tornado warning. If you guys can hear me, I'm not sure if you can hear my microphone. It was there for a minute, and now it's kind of dropped out. There we are. So a tornado warning is currently in place for portions of Berks and Chester counties, again, as Grant has been showing us. Let's take you back to what we're looking at right now. Now, what we want to mention, if you are in Chester County, if you're in Berks County, here's what you need to do. You need to seek shelter immediately, an interior room or a basement, away from windows as much as you can be. This is, again, heavy rain, wind, and hail potential with this, but the most pressing impact, the most emergent impact and threat that we're dealing with right now is this cell over Chester County, which is producing a possible tornado. So there is your tornado warning. Again, it's for portions of Berks and Chester counties. That is until 11:45 this morning, so really for the next half hour. Take a look at this, where this actually is right now. The strongest storm is moving right here toward right through the Callan Township area. It is now lifting up toward Honeybrook. There is kind of a complex of storms in this area, all capable of producing not only tornadoes, but the National Weather Service says both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage. This was located near Honeybrook, which was about 9 miles east of New Holland, southeast of New Holland, moving to the northeast at 35 miles an hour. So if we kind of track this out, moving to the northeast, here's the areas that you need to watch out for. If you're in West Netmill Township by 11:26, that's within the next 10 minutes, this is going to be near your area. Town about 11:37. If you're in, again, Callan Township, if you're in Euclid Township, if you're up near my hometown of Phoenixville, this is headed your way. And we are getting some spotter reports of, I think it's what we're looking at is heavy rain and hail. In fact, there's a report 7 miles east-northeast of Valley Forge, a report of hail, which is about 0.88 inches in diameter. That is very, very large hail. Let's take a look at just exactly how large that is. When you look at a diameter of almost an inch, that's about quarter-size hail. When you get to 1 1/4 inches, you're talking $half size. So we're getting close to that quarter-size hail that was reported near Valley Forge. Again, you can see the brighter returns here. This is what we're looking at. Grant mentioned the velocity, so this basically shows the brightest, where you see the brightest green there, that's where the storm is moving at its fastest, and we are seeing rotation within that area. So that space between Honeybrook and West Callan right now, headed quickly toward Martin's Corner and West Brandywine, also headed toward basically right toward 322, and this is going to be moving into an area that is much more populated right now, Brandywine Township as well. You are going to be seeing this move through within, again, the next 15 to 20 minutes basically. So a tornado warning, to reiterate, in effect until 11:45 for Berks and Chester counties, a severe thunderstorm warning further south. And again, as Grant mentioned, we also have a severe thunderstorm warning down the shore. That's not a tornado warning. Always a tornado warning is the most pressing situation, the most severe situation we tell you about. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning moving through the shore points right now. It was a beautiful morning down the shore. A lot of people were out on the beach. A lot of people were out on the boardwalk. And now we're looking at a severe thunderstorm warning as the cell moves right through Atlantic City. I'm going to send it back over to Grant now. Grant, are you seeing any new information on your end?
Yeah, getting those reports of the large hail, no confirmed reports of the tornado on the ground, which is good, but still, at any point, we're seeing the rotation, we're seeing the spin in the atmosphere that could actually produce that tornado and drop down and cause some damage. So if you're just checking in, tornado warning in effect for Chester and Berks County until 11:45, excuse me. I want to show you though, a storm moving into Center City right now, coming up from the south. How about this view? Looking to the south over the city. This is not a severe storm, but it is strengthening. So if you're in eastern Delaware County, South Philadelphia, be prepared for a strong storm to come through. There is lightning within this. I haven't seen any since we've taken this camera, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see this storm strengthen to the point that we could get some gusty winds and potentially some hail as well. So we're going to continue to track this storm. Let me show you on the radar where this is. Let me pause this. And again, severe thunderstorm warning. This actually just coming in. So severe thunderstorm warning now for Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Newcastle County as the storm behind it moves to the east. So this is not actually for the storm that I was just talking about. This is for a storm a little bit farther to the west. In fact, this is for that same general storm that was producing the tornado warning. And Kate, it looks like, are we still seeing the tornado warning? Yes, we are. So we're still seeing that tornado warning. They just trimmed back the polygon a little bit. So we still have this tornado warning that goes until 11:45, but in the larger area of this line of storms, there is then a larger severe thunderstorm warning that is also moving through southeastern Pennsylvania and northern Delaware. So again, let's put the loop on. This is just a 30-minute loop, so you get an idea of how quickly this area, this Boeing segment, is moving to the east. So it's going to move quickly. It'll move in. It might even catch you a little off guard, which is why we wanted to come on here on television and on the stream to tell you that these storms are going to move in. They'll move in quickly. You want to be in that safe place, and then the storms will move out, and the rest of the day will be much calmer. But still, the reason for us being on television with you right now is because of this tornado warning. Let me pause this, and I want to take more of a detailed look at this cell, because we can show you the rain, but more importantly, I think it's important for us to analyze this with you to be able to see where that threat for where our tornado could be. And this is where we're seeing that rotation right there. I've drawn some arrows on there for you. And this is a little behind the curtain, if you will, but I think for the sake of tracking this, West Brandywine, you need to be in your safe place right now. This storm is moving up to the north and east, so even Wallace, if you're in Wallace, get to that safe place. Put as many walls between you and the outside and this danger or potential danger until the storm threats. Let's put on a track here. Let's show you where this is all going, and then we can get a better idea of who exactly is going to be in the threat for this. So we'll pause this. Let me put on a track. We'll track it out. We'll go up to the north and east. Again, it's moving around 30 miles per hour. So Pikeland around 11:23 and likely staying there in the region up towards Phoenixville. 11:33 Upper Providence by 11:46. Again, this tornado warning will remain in effect until 11:45. So we're looking at Lower Providence, it arriving right toward the end of this warning at 11:42. And then it'll continue up to the north and east. We're not seeing as much of that rotation as we initially were, but sometimes these storms will pulse a little bit. They'll go through cycles. Well, they'll start to spin up a little bit, and then they'll weaken and they'll relax, and then they'll spin up again. So I think it's going to be important to stay with this storm through the entirety of this tornado warning for, again, Chester, and then as it moves to the northeast into Berks County as well. I don't want to leave you guys in Atlantic City out here, because you've got a pretty strong storm, in fact a severe storm moving towards you. This storm moving right into AC as we speak. A lot of lightning. Most of the lightning though is just off the shore, but still we could get some hail within this cell as it moves up to the north and east, and it's going to go right along the boardwalk there. So it's going to continue to track to the north and east. We've got a video right now, live video from Ocean City, just down the shore here. You can see we're looking to the south right here. So you see a little clearing behind that cell that is moving up to the north and east. So you'll get that strong and severe weather, and then you should start to see some peaks of sunshine then roll in behind it. And again, I think that's going to be the nature of the next few hours along northern Delaware into southeastern Pennsylvania, Philly, South Jersey, and then all of this will start to clear out. We're not going to be done with the rain. I don't think after this we'll still see some spotty showers and storms, but overall I think our severe threat will be much less into the afternoon. Let's put this into motion. I want to loop it for you. I think this helps out, just give you an idea of tracking it depending on where you are. We'll try to get to as many locations as we can to show you what we have for the immediate and most concerning threat. But right now these storms are generally moving to the east northeast pretty quickly. Upper Dublin, that rain moving through right now, that's not the severe thunderstorm warning. You're right there on the fringe of that severe thunderstorm warning that'll take us till the noon hour. But back to the west is that tornado warning that is just now. Let's pause this here. Let's show you where our immediate threats are. We're looking at Wallace. Again, Wallace, we talked about how we're seeing that little bit of spin up and then relaxation, spin up again. So we're looking at that rotation coming in right just east of West Brandywine. Let's see, Downington. I think you guys need, even though the immediate couplet right here, let me draw on this little, our arrows. Right there, that's where that rotation is, and it's tracking to the north and east. So Downington, still get to your safe place. I want to make sure you're going to stay safe for this storm. Even if it's not that immediate tornado threat, still that large hail, 1-inch diameter hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, that could knock down a branch on a tree. It could come down. So just stay away from the outside if you can. Get to that innermost room. Get to a bathroom potentially if you can. That's away from the outside, as many walls in between you and the outside. All right, back to the radar here. Let's show you the radar and show you where this is all going. It's tracking to the northeast, so it's heading towards Pottstown. Pottstown, we talked to you just a few minutes ago. You're not technically within that warning right now, but obviously the rainfall is really beginning to pick up. We're finding a little bit of some signature of the potential for some hail, anywhere between a marble size to golf ball size, maybe upwards of 1 inch to maybe 1.25 inches. So that's pretty large hail. And that's the point where we start to see some damage with some of those larger hailstones. The rotation has been consistent. It hasn't been strengthening, but it hasn't been weakening either. So that's an indication that this tornado warning that will take us through 11:45 is probably going to stay, right? So we're likely not going to see anything drop off. Sometimes they'll cancel a tornado warning if that's the case, if we see that weakening, and we're just not seeing this right now. So we're going to continue to stay with this tornado threat and that potential for a tornado on the ground. Meteorologist Kate Bilo has been standing by. Kate, you're looking at the same stuff I am. We're trying to monitor our conversations with the National Weather Service and look at some of the other indicators out there. And it seems like we're just staying as is, right? That severe tornado threat's going to continue.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Grant. And it's important to note as well that within that line that we've been talking about, not only is there the potential for embedded rotation, right? So the threat for a tornado, but there are damaging straight line winds likely within that line that could exceed 65, maybe even 70 miles per hour. And that can cause nearly as much damage as tornado winds. So you're talking roof damage, you're talking tree damage and power outages in this area. And what we're watching for is to see if any of those other little areas start to rotate. So what I want to show you here, basically we'll start with the hail, because what you're looking at here, where you see the gray, that's where hail has already been detected within these cells. We can actually kind of detect the potential for hail. So if you're in these areas, if you're in Coatesville, if you're in London Grove, if you're in Euclid Township, that's where this is all headed next. So you are in line for potentially some severe hail as well, up to an inch in diameter. That's quarter-sized hail. We do still, of course, have our tornado warning. So I want to zoom in on some spots that could be seeing this moving your way very, very shortly. If you're in East Nantmeal or Upper Euclid Township, if you're in Coventry Township, Coventry up toward East Vincent, and then eventually, again, this is now all moving to the north and east. So in Limerick, that's where the storms are headed next, just outside of that tornado warning zone, which is where you see kind of that red outline box there from South Coventry headed toward East Vincent Township. Not in a tornado warning right now, but we are seeing a large area of a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm just going to pull this up so you can see what we have happening right now. This entire area, this entire cluster of storms has the potential to produce tornadoes, but also to produce those damaging severe straight line winds. So where you see that big orange box, which includes almost all of Chester County, portions of Delaware County and Montgomery County as well, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. And the wording that the National Weather Service has issued with that warning says a tornado is possible. Where we have the tornado warning is embedded within that same complex of thunderstorms, the same cluster of storms in a tornado warning until 11:45. So what we'll continue to monitor with this is, are we seeing any more of that, any more of those rotation signatures, the bright shading on our velocity, what we call a couplet, which is winds blowing toward and away from the radar site. That shows you where the winds are rotating. We've detected it near, again, it was originally near Honeybrook. The portion of Berks County that was in the tornado warning has been dropped. We now have a statement from the National Weather Service that strong thunderstorms will impact portions of northern Newcastle County as well through noon today. This is not a warning for that area. The warning, again, encompasses almost all of Chester and Delaware counties, as well as southern Montgomery County and into portions very close to northwest Philadelphia. So Norristown, Upper Providence, East Whiteland Township, you are all in that zone. I was watching this cell to the south here. This is moving from basically Downingtown down through East Marlboro Township. This one did have a little bit of a rotation signature, not strong enough that I think it could produce a tornado, at least just yet, but every one of these cells embedded within this line is going to be one to watch. So right now, the worst of this passing over East Marlboro, it's headed for Longwood Gardens, which is right along that zone. Further north up along Route 30 and up toward the PA Turnpike. Again, very busy interchange here around Downingtown, down toward Westchester. This is where you're seeing some of the worst of the conditions right now. And the rain is falling at an incredible rate. So where you see that bright colors, that pink there as we sweep the region, it is raining very heavily. What that means is if a tornado does form, you're not going to see it coming. It's not going to be a visible tornado likely on the horizon. This is going to be a rain-wrapped tornado very likely, and probably will not know the extent of any damage until after it all passes by. So I want to reiterate, if you are in this zone, especially in this box right here, let me pull it up so you can see it without all the radar on top of it. If you're in this box here, which does include the PA Turnpike, which does include Nantmeal Township there, it includes Ludwig's Corner, it includes Coventry Township, and it does include areas right along Route 23. This is a tornado warning. If you are in this box, you need to be in your safe space. You need to be in an interior room, a basement. A powder room is usually a good choice. They tend to not have windows. You need to be away from windows. You need to be in a closet, again, away from doors, the lowest possible level you can get to. If you're in an apartment building, the lowest possible level of the building would be best. If you can't do that, then it would be, again, an interior room within your home or a closet that would keep you safe, because there is the potential for a tornado on the ground. We do not have any reports of a confirmed spotted tornado on the ground, which is always a good thing in this situation. Hopefully we will not have any tornado damage, but we will very likely, at the very least, have extensive amounts of straight line wind damage as this cluster moves through, and it is moving relatively quickly. So this is moving northeast at about 35 miles an hour. It has now kind of coalesced into that more linear shape. It's kind of a broken line of thunderstorms moving east at about 35 miles per hour, northeast at 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to set the speed to 35 miles per hour, and we'll look at where this is headed next. Again, if you're in Limerick, if you're in any spot in Chester or Delaware County, you need to be in a safe zone right now, or know exactly where you're going to go if a warning pops up for you. So Wilmington, this gets to you at 11:39. If you're in West Goshen, it's 11:32. That already happened. Upper Marion, 11:51. That's King of Prussia. So big, busy area, busy interchange there. King of Prussia, 422. All of these roads impacted by this line of storms, producing intense rainfall, possible ponding on the roads, and also the threat for a tornado. Haverford, 11:57. Upper Darby at noon. This line will likely get to Philadelphia just after the noon hour, which is what we've been telling you all day. Right around noon would be the arrival time. We already have some storms out there, but this cluster of storms, which has the potential to basically spawn a tornado, is moving very quickly toward the Philadelphia area, and we now have a new tornado warning to tell you about. This just popped up for us. It is right here for Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery counties. And this is a very scary and dangerous situation, because this is a very well populated area. Look at that. It's the interchange there of the Blue Route and 23 right on up to the PA Turnpike. This includes Lower Marion Township. This includes Radnor. This includes King of Prussia, Wayne, Marple, back toward Willistown and West Goshen. Radar detected rotation in a new tornado warning for Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery counties. Severe thunderstorms capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage right near Westchester. If you're in Westchester, you need to be in a safe space. You need to be in your basement. You need to be in an interior room away from windows. A new tornado warning has just been issued as this line moves east. And here's the cell that's producing it. This is the same cell we just highlighted, where I just told you that was the one showing a little bit of rotation. Now that rotation signature has increased, and we are seeing this again moving east right across portions of Chester County, headed for Montgomery County with a new tornado warning. I'm going to toss it over to Grant for the latest on what you're seeing as far as the timing of these warnings as this cluster continues to move east. Grant, we'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, it's a dangerous situation for sure. Even though it's radar indicated, we have to assume that there's a tornado on the ground right here. And you mentioned an increasingly populated area there for this Westchester area. The tornado warning also includes northern Delaware County and Montgomery County. This storm is moving a little bit faster than some of the other storms, so it's moving to the east-northeast at around 40 miles per hour. First, I want to take you down very close to show you some of the communities and potentially your home that's impacted here. Willistown, you're probably within, I'd say, 10 minutes before this potential tornado arrives in your area. Westtown arriving within the next, I'd say, 5 minutes. So we need to be in our safe place. We need to get away from this potential tornado that's tracking to the east-northeast at around 40 miles per hour. We also have an ongoing tornado warning. This is for also Chester County, but a little farther north, up towards South Coventry, East Natmeal. This storm moving right through your area. Sheeter moving through. A lot of lightning, heavy rain, and even some hail. We're getting a lot of reports of the potential for some hail of a ½ inch to upwards of an inch in diameter. Zooming out again, showing you those two tornado warnings. Let me loop this for you. It's racing to the east. Philadelphia, all right, here you are. Philadelphia, you are not included in a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning right now, though a strong storm is moving through. So you'll likely just get into your safe place, just stay there and let all of this clear out, because it will. It'll move out within the next hour to an hour and a half, and then we can resume and continue on with our afternoon. But this newest tornado warning that was just issued is for Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery County until noon. So it's not going to be a long duration tornado warning because it is moving so quickly. Let me put on some tracks here for you. We're going to track this up to the east-northeast, again, moving at 40 miles per hour. So here are the towns that we're looking at. West Goshen arriving by 11:38. It is currently 11:37. So West Goshen, safe place. Get there as quickly as you can if you're not there already. Willistown arriving around 11:44. Easttown, 11:50. And then as the storm continues to head toward that noon hour, Radnor probably arriving around 11:57. So you're probably saying, oh, this storm is a long way away from me. Again, it's moving very quickly to the east-northeast. In addition to this tornado threat here, we also have an ongoing gusty, damaging wind threat. If you look at the orange here, let me take off of the radar and show you just the warnings that we have in effect across the area right now, because in addition to that tornado threat, which is a very real threat, multiple areas underneath that tornado warning, all of that orange there, that light orange, is a severe thunderstorm warning that includes the threat for damaging winds in excess of 60 to 65 miles per hour and that threat for 1-inch diameter hail or larger. All of those concerns, all of those hazards could potentially cause some damage, and not just immediately to your home, but it could knock down some trees and take out power as well. So just be prepared for the lights to flicker a little bit if we start to see some tree damage, and then potentially also that damage coming from hail. So it's not for you to be out in. You want to get inside and seek shelter. Outside of that, we also have this pink area. That is a severe thunderstorm watch. So this severe thunderstorm watch goes until 6 o'clock this evening. So we'll have an ongoing possibility for more severe weather as we head through the early to mid part of the afternoon. And you also see we have a severe thunderstorm warning down towards Atlantic City. So a couple of other areas, but the bulk of this severe weather right now is right over the Westchester area, moving through Chester County into Delaware County, and then a little bit into western Montgomery County. Let's take you down there. Let me show you here. Just a little update looping. This is a loop over just 30 minutes, all right? So we're tracking that storm. The one tornado warning that just came down, that tornado warning for Chester, Delaware, Montgomery County, that goes until noon. And let me show you. Let's take you down. A lot of lightning with it. That sharp edge, see that sharp edge right there? That's the difference between light rain, relatively calm conditions, and once you hit that yellow, the oranges and the reds, that rainfall is going to pick up tremendously. And then you might even see some areas with those darker reds with some embedded hail within that larger storm. Willistown still waiting on the rains, probably arriving as I'm speaking right now. West Goshen, as I mentioned, get into that safe place. Thornbury, get to your safe place as well. You're on the southern end of our tornado polygon here. Glen Mills, also make sure you're in that safe place as this tornado warning and this cell tracks up to the east-northeast. Can't forget about our ongoing tornado warning up into Chester County. This cell, let me turn on the velocity here, because this cell has been continuing to produce a little bit of rotation. Again, reds moving away from the radar, greens indicate wind heading toward the radar. You get that in a close proximity, you might get a rotation enough to produce that tornado that could go all the way down to the ground. Also, again, looking at the rotation a little farther south into Chester County near West Goshen, certainly some strong winds on the backside. Those bright greens are indicative of those 60+ mile per hour winds that are blowing in with that storm. So that's a sharp gradient between calm winds and relatively damaging, potentially damaging winds as well. And then that little couplet right there, let's zoom down, let's show you that. That couplet right there is where we're looking at the potential for a tornado on the ground. So that's the area of concern right now. Glen Mills, as I mentioned, and then up towards Willistown, farther to the east, Castle Rock. Castle Rock, again, it's calm where you are right now. You probably see those clouds off in the distance. Real quick, let me turn back on to our polygons here with the radar, looping it, seeing that whole line, right along that line, anywhere from the northern part of that polygon down into northern Delaware County. That's going to be the potential for some damaging wind. So anybody within that, whether you're in the tornado warning or that severe thunderstorm warning, I want to make sure you stay safe and you get out of the storm and get to that safe place so you can just let this storm ride through without hopefully any damage. All right, Kayla, I want to send things back over to you. A lot going on, a couple of other severe thunderstorm warnings in addition to a couple of other reports coming in with what's within these storms.
That's right, Grant. And we do have one piece of good news, and that's the original tornado warning that was issued for northern sections of Chester County. That storm has moved out. The tornado warning has been canceled for that area, and now they have not issued another one for that northern area. It's going to be allowed to expire. It's still showing up, but we do have basically a tornado warning that we're more concerned about now further to the south. So here's that original box. Again, the storms have moved east of there. That warning will be allowed to expire. Again, not looking at a tornado warning upstream from that, which is good news. Further to the south, this is the area that we're most concerned about right now. I want to zoom in on the cell that is producing this, and you can see what we're looking at here. I want to kind of draw this for you. What we're looking at right about here, when you see that kind of structure of a storm, that's what we call a little bit of an inflow notch. That's where winds blow into the storm and the storm does begin to rotate. When you see that, it sometimes is an indication that a storm may be rotating. I'm going to try to get for you in a little bit. Just got a photo from Jim Donovan, who had a friend of his send him a picture of what looks to be a funnel cloud, possibly on the ground near Westchester. And remember, this is where this cell originated. This is where the warning originated from. As this continues to move east, the areas that are most impacted are going to be basically as you go right along Route 3 here. That goes right into Delaware County, Westchester Pike. So if you're in Marple Township right now, if you're in Media, if you're in Aston, Delaware County, this is where you need to take shelter immediately. If you're up in Tredyffrin Township, if you're in the Wayne area, if you're in Stratford, if you're right along Lancaster Avenue, right through the Western Main Line, this is headed your way. If you're in Radnor, if you're headed out on the Blue Route, on the basically 476, if you're headed down through Chester County, Delaware County, this is the area that is going to be next in line basically for this potential rotating thunderstorm, the supercell thunderstorm, which is capable of producing a tornado. So I just want to take you right out to the end of the warning zone. And again, these are the areas we just mentioned. Willistown Township, 1152. If you're in Edgemont, 1155. Marple Township, about 1203. You're looking at the potential for this cell to be right over you. Radnor, you're looking at 1208, and Bryn Mawr by 1211. Our hope, of course, is that this will cease to be rotating by that point and we will not have a further tornado warning issued as it moves east. The problem, of course, is that we have seen this line not only capable of producing a tornado, but capable of producing damaging, dangerous straight line wind gusts, likely in excess of 70 miles per hour. So in fact, this entire line has a severe thunderstorm warning with it, and you have to worry about this entire line. So any spot you see on this list here, Wilmington, Upper Providence, Tredyffrin Township, Lower Providence, Chester, and eventually Haverford and Upper Darby just after the noon hour, not only do you have to worry about a possible tornado, but also those damaging wind gusts. And you can see where our couplet is right now. Look at that pretty significant rotation signature that we have. Again, looking at right here, right there. That is what we're looking at. It's moving over Willistown right now. So right along Route 3 near Willistown, that's where I am very concerned that you are possibly seeing a tornado on the ground, if not the threat for some dangerous, damaging straight line winds. Let's send it over to meteorologist Bill Kelly. He has some the latest information. He's going to continue to track this as our team coverage continues.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. This is just a pretty incredible how quickly this has intensified. When talking about those lines, talking about the tornado warning, it is in place at this point until noon, as you can see. So we have all the threats in play today, right? We have the potential, of course, for the tornado, and that's why we have the tornado warning that's in effect. Let me just put this on right now, specifically what we're talking about. It's this isolated part within, or this relatively small part within a larger severe thunderstorm warning that Kate was just talking to you about that has the tornado warning. So Willistown, Glen Mills, if you hear the name of your city, you are under the tornado warning. Best to take your tornado precautions, which means to get into the center part of your house if you don't have a basement. Basement is where you want to be. That is the safest place whenever there's a tornado warning. It is approaching Marion. It is approaching here Marple, as you can see. Let me put the radar back on because it's this leading edge right here where we're going to be tracking some, at minimum, very strong winds, very heavy rain, and prolific lightning strikes. You can see all these lightning strikes. Now, lightning, I will tell you, when we're talking about severe weather, does not count per se. You could have 1,000 lightning strikes. That by itself does not make it severe, but lightning is incredibly dangerous, as you know. So we focus on the tornado warning. We focus on the straight line winds. But I also want to point out that there is an enormous amount of lightning right now over West Goshen, continuing to move its way from the west to the east. And this is just the beginning right now. Today, we're going to have most likely between now and when this exits a couple of hours that we're going to be tracking some strong to severe storms. We do have this cell right now over the city, which has a lot of lightning with it as well. But we're talking about Delaware County. In fact, that's our camera there from Spring Garden. We're looking to the east on that, and you can see how wet the roads are. But Delaware County, Chester County, moving into essentially lower Montgomery County in this area here. Let's check, go back, and I want to check what we're looking at here is called the velocity. And what this is a radar, and there's a lot of colors, and it might look a little confusing, but what we do as meteorologists, we focus in. This tells us the direction that the storm is moving, and it tells us the intensity of the winds. Green means it's moving toward the radar, and in this case, the radar is over here in New Jersey, up near Mount Holly, essentially, a little bit farther away from that. But then the red means it's moving away. So when we're focused in, we have this tornado warning. In fact, I can go in here and I could put the warning outline. Let me put the outline in right here and keep this product up. So within this box is where the National Weather Service has issued that tornado warning. To give you a little bit of some reference, here's Philadelphia. This is I-95. This right here is the Delaware line, Delaware State, not Delaware County. Delaware County's here, so it's in the northern part of Delaware County. Marple is right in the middle of this. And so where we're focused in on the danger at this moment is right along this edge here. So we're going to go investigate together. And what we're seeing and what the National Weather Service is seeing is, you see how you have these bright shades of green? This means winds here are all going in this direction. But right ahead of it, there's these areas. I'll tell you, it's not crystal clear. This is not a crystal clear definition of a tornado, which is good, right? It shows rotation, but you know, the more clear it is, the more likely there is a tornado on the ground. So we like it when it's a little muddy in that regard for your safety, if that makes sense. So, but what we're looking at, there's areas right here where you're getting these winds that are going the opposite direction. And when you get winds that are going toward and away that are near each other, obviously, and here's a brand new scan that just came in, that shows some of that rotation. Not seeing it crystal clear, but again, we'll go really down low. The Montgomery County line right butted up here to northern Delaware County. So Echo Valley, we've got Aaronwold. We have Newtown Square. We're moving closer to Radnor. You guys are in this. Now is the time ahead of this to take your tornado precautions. Okay, in fact, I'll track this out for you here. Lowest level of the home. I'll take one quick second here because we don't get tornadoes in this area very often. Lowest level of your home, and by the way, I'm looking at the National Weather Service chat, and if I have not seen any confirmation of a tornado on the ground, which is good. There's emergency managers, there's spotters, there are people out there, and if there's a tornado confirmation, that means there was one spotted and on the ground. So I don't see that, but let's just take the leading edge right here and draw this out. So I'll give you a couple of timestamps here. Castle Rock at 11:49, Easttown at 11:51. This is the estimate as to when it will be on your doorstep, which is now essentially at 11:50 on my clock that I'm looking at here. Brummel, we got 11:56. Radnor at 11:58. Bonaire 11:59. Haverford 12:02. So what you want to do is if you have this lead time, you have 5-10 minutes, you want to get in the lowest level of your house. If you don't have a basement, many of you don't, you want to get into the center room. What I always tell people, think of as many walls between you and the outside as possible, because what's damaging, what's really deadly really in a tornado is the stuff, not necessarily the winds, it's the stuff spinning around in the wind. So as many layers of protection between you and the outside as possible. Oftentimes we'll say in a bathroom, get in that lower, like if it's in the center of your house, because then you have the bathroom wall, then a hallway wall, then a bedroom, maybe an outdoor wall, that type of thing. So take your tornado precautions. Now, if you're in an apartment, and I'm not talking about a big skyrise in Center City. You want to get in the center part of that. But if you're like in a two-story apartment that's just, you know, like a townhome type thing, you want to get into that lower level. Hopefully you've worked out something with your neighbor. Hey, you want to come down, go downstairs, watch the coverage from a lower floor, that type of thing. So that's what we always encourage you to do. Let me put this back in motion, and then I don't want to forget everybody else and kind of the overall big picture, what's going on. So we have this wave of storms moving across the area, and storms, there are a lot of them. Every one of these emblems that you see is a cloud to ground lightning strike, not just within the cloud, not from one cloud to another. These are actually hitting the ground, and I certainly don't have to tell you folks near here, you're hearing it for sure, probably seeing it. But as these storms continue over the next hour or so, you can see this general movement. It's approaching the Center City, I mean, right in the heart of Philadelphia. It's going to be moving over, and you're looking at that camera there. That's our camera atop the library looking toward Logan Square. Flags are not blowing around tremendously right now. In fact, they're just kind of hanging out there. Roads are wet. We've had the rain. Lightning at this moment in Philadelphia is the biggest threat. But that's not going to necessarily be the case here in another probably 15 minutes. So what I want to do is I want to track this out now, not just the local, hyper-local level, which we will come back to. Of course, next weather team is here. Kate, Grant is here. We're covering this for you. We're looking at all kinds of angles. And two, also, Grant, just let me know if you have anything that you want that you see that I'm not seeing on National Weather Service. Feel free to chime in and let me know on that at any time. But let me track this out. And what I want to do, this is not all severe. This line is not severe. Not all of it is severe. But this gives you a general gauge. We could see more tornado warnings. We could see more severe thunderstorm warnings. So Upper Darby, you guys got about 10 more minutes or so. Philadelphia, 12-12. So that is measured right in the heart of Philadelphia. So we're talking like 20 more minutes essentially until that is right in the heart of Philadelphia. Potentially with a tornado. Certainly with the potential for some strong winds, gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour, which is classifiably severe, if not stronger than that. Thought I heard something with the National Weather Service. I did not. Let's continue going. Cherry Hill. So it's going to put it over into, say, Haddonfield, probably Morristown, Cinnaminson, places along that same line. That's closer to about 12:20. National Weather Service continuing the severe thunderstorm warning. That one for Kent and Sussex County on the tail end of this, which I'll show you in just a moment. And that severe thunderstorm warning is going to remain until 12:30. Trenton at 12:44. That's up, of course, in Mercer County. Pemberton and Burlington, we got 12:51. Okay, so I'm just giving you these times. Maybe you have kids that are out playing. It's June. Goodness, if anybody's in a pool, you got to get them out of a pool. I mean, it's not a 90-degree sunny day, so maybe not as many of that. But outside, you hear the sound of thunder, you've got to get inside. You've got to get away from that lightning. Very dangerous. A lot of folks down the shore. This is going to be approaching the shore a little later on this afternoon, and will likely keep this similar intensity, if not get a little bit stronger with the heating of the day. We got Lakewood at 1:28 is what we're looking at there. So that's a general timeline from this overall line that individually within it has a severe thunderstorm, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, and it has the tornado warning that we've been telling you about, set to expire at this point at noon. And I haven't seen a change on that. So let's show you some of the other warnings right now. So we have the tornado warning. What I want to do is put this, and I'm just okay, that sound, whenever you hear that beep, it's telling me that we have the word tornado in it, and they have officially expired, which is great news. They've expired the tornado warning for Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery County, so the one we've been telling you about. And they're probably seeing the same thing that we were seeing, that we were talking about, showing you that it's kind of muddy. Certainly rotation, very strong winds, but they've expired the tornado warning part of that. Now we're still focused on the severe thunderstorm warning part of it. Now, I don't want, sometimes, often you'll think, okay, well, not a tornado warning and we're good to go. A severe thunderstorm warning with winds of 60 or greater, or a tornado warning, the primary difference there is a tornado is rotating winds, often faster than 60 miles per hour, certainly than that. But straight line wind damage and, and the potential for hail, that is a big threat. So I don't want your guard down just because that tornado warning has been expired, because we have this widespread area, and this thing is running from north to south. We're, up there in terms of distance. I mean, from north to south, we got like a 50-mile stretch of this that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it. That's a huge area. This isn't one cell that's over a township or over a small area. This is a big storm. This is a big storm that is producing winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, and it is approaching the Philadelphia area. Philadelphia is in the severe thunderstorm warning right here with it. Well, I mean, just right barely outside of it, but the National Weather Service, I'm certain, anytime will extend that over to include the city of Philadelphia. I do not see this dying down anytime soon. So let's take this all off. Let's clean the screen up just a little bit. Let's put this into motion. I want to show you the generalized run from left to right. So this is moving from the west to the east. It's moving here at about 35 miles per hour or so, generally speaking. The severe look at down here into Kent County and into Newcastle County. And what's also incredible, this is a loop of just 30 minutes of radar data. Okay, and by the way, I know I'm standing in front of the shore. There's, we've got that cell that has now moved out of Atlantic City. I know Grant and Kate were talking about that earlier. That is offshore, so that's why we're not focused on the shore at this point. This is the most urgent cell, the most impactful storm that we are dealing with, certainly when it comes to population center around the greater Philadelphia metropolitan area. So this is going to impact millions of you. And that's not exaggerated, right? I mean, as it moves across, it's all counties around the Philadelphia area. At minimum, we have very strong, numerous lightning strikes, very heavy rain, larger hail, and gusty winds. So the best thing I can tell you, the most important thing for us as a weather team in your community, out there looking out for you, which is what we do. It's why we do this, keep you and your family safe and your property. It's our number one job for sure, is to bring your kids in. If kids are out playing, bring them in. It's a storm coming through. I know there's curiosity that will take over and you want to, oh, let's go take a look, and we're going to go look at it. But yeah, bring your kids in and let this storm pass on by. You know, Grant, we talk about that and the safety aspect of it. And though the tornado warning isn't here, Kate, rather, it's you know, so dangerous. I heard you earlier talking about that exact same thing. Those straight line winds, let's not push those aside.
Right, Bill, and I just wanted to add, we've been hearing, you know, today is the last day of school for a lot of kids, and a lot of kids have early dismissal, which is happening right now. So like the Lower Merion Township School District, for example, which is right in this area, just sent out an email saying that they're delaying dismissal for the middle schools. Middle schools were supposed to be dismissed today at around noon. That means elementary schools were going to be dismissed at about 12:30. They're now pushing it all back. So something to keep in mind, if kids are going to be dismissed early from school, if it's the last day of school, they are not, in some school districts, they are making the decision to push that back, saying everyone stay inside the building, seek shelter right now. That's the smart thing to do, because you don't want kids stuck on buses during this. You don't want kids delayed getting home and basically in the middle of what could be a falling tree branch, what could be a very dangerous situation on the road. So again, if your child goes to Lower Merion School District, the middle school dismissal has been delayed. That will likely delay the elementary school dismissal and buses as well. So something to keep in mind. Just wanted to add that because, again, this is an active, it's a Friday. It's the Friday before a holiday weekend, Grant. A lot of people are out on the roads and getting ready, and it's a dangerous time outside.
It's a busy time of day, right? It's lunchtime as we head into our Friday afternoon, getting ready for it. And I do want to mention that it's not just southeast Pennsylvania, northern Delaware. This area, this box here, this is a severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 6 o'clock. So South Jersey, the rest of Delaware, you guys are going to continue to just be weather aware through the rest of the afternoon. But again, we do have several ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings. This tornado warning, even though it's still showing up on our graphics right now on the map, until noon, the National Weather Service came in and said, all right, look, the threat for a tornado has subsided, but those orange boxes everywhere pretty much north of that tornado warning and south of that tornado warning, all along that band of heavy rain and severe weather is a severe thunderstorm warning. So 60 to nearly 70 mile per hour winds is something to certainly, you know, mind and be aware of. And those severe thunderstorm warnings remain in effect through the next 15 to 20 minutes or so.
And I think we're going to toss it over to Jim Donovan now. We are going to continue to bring you breaking weather coverage through the noon hour. Stay with us.
Well, breaking on CBS News Philadelphia. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Donovan. You're just joining us. We have severe weather moving through our area right now. There have been tornado warnings this morning. We want to get back to our team of meteorologists with the latest information.
Jim, I tell you what, I'm looking right now off the side, the Roosevelt Expressway on one of our tower cameras, and the rain coming down in absolute buckets. Good afternoon, everybody. Brand new information that just came down. You heard Grant and Kate talking about that tornado warning that has expired, but since we last met here, they have reissued or extended out the severe thunderstorm warning, as was expected for the city of Philadelphia. So as we speak right now, here's a look at some of the warnings. In fact, let me take off the labeling first. I'm going to put this on like this. So what we have is this box here that includes Philadelphia, and we have this box down here south of the city that goes in to parts of Salem County, goes into Gloucester and Camden County. Now these warnings here themselves, let me zoom on down. Notice the one to the north. This severe thunderstorm warning that includes Philadelphia, that's up until 12:45. And you see how it has that red shade around the box? What that tells us, and it's an automatic thing that is programmed in there that we did, that tells us that the National Weather Service has language in this warning that says, yeah, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, gusts of wind 60 or greater, hail an inch in diameter or greater. But this also, there's a tornado possible. That's why we outline this box with red. This one down here doesn't look like rotation, and this is for Camden County, Delaware County. It's leaving Delaware, Gloucester, Newcastle. I'm going to track all these out for you. This one is primarily straight line winds and some hail, in addition to all the lightning that is in the area. Okay, so now what I want to do is put this map in motion. You can see the general movement. They're moving roughly 35 miles per hour, and it is now up and down, approaching the I-95 corridor. City of Wilmington, you guys have a ton of lightning right now, and it's moving on out, heading on into Salem County, right across the Delaware. It's moving up in through Delaware County, where we have that severe thunderstorm warning, and now approaching Philadelphia. So let's focus in on this area here, because this is where we had the severe thunderstorm warning a little bit earlier. Here is Norristown, that's 476 there. You're looking at the Schuylkill Expressway. It's up over King of Prussia. It's down over Chester right now. I mean, essentially working right up the Blue Route that we're keeping a close eye on. Heavy rainfall and the lightning with this, which is not included, by the way, in severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. But man, there is a ton, which is very dangerous. In fact, this one here, we can use a tool real quickly, and I can sample just within the box that you're seeing on your screen. Right here in this area, we're talking almost 100 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes within the last 15 minutes. Not total, just in the last 15 minutes. And one last thing, and then I'm going to track it out for you. You'll see, like right there, you'll see the lightning emblems move. If there's a new one, it pops on, and then it starts to fade off. It's all real time. It's all coming in. It's very active and very urgent. It's not something we have to render. It's real time for you, and that's why we run that. All right, so let's track this out, and I want to get you hyper localized in terms of where we have these cities and where we're going to be facing the threat. Of course, here's Philadelphia right here. It gets you, position. Camden right on the other side, obviously. Okay, so let's take the leading edge of this, and I'm going to draw it on down, take it down into Salem County, and we're just going to move it across. Let's go roughly over the next hour. Okay, Philadelphia 1212, which is exactly what the timestamp was when we sampled this 10 minutes ago. So what that tells us is that the storm is moving exactly as we are predicting that it is. Cherry Hill 1223. What can you expect when you see your city, hear your city? Heavy rain, winds, a lot of lightning, and then, of course, the potential for some hail that's large. And at this point, no tornado warnings issued, but it's certainly possible within, and we'll look at this in just a second, possible where we could be a tornado. And Grant, that's one of those things, Grant and Kate, what I'll probably do is toss to you in just a moment. If you want to really investigate that velocity data and see if you can pinpoint and find some of those pockets that maybe the National Weather Service might look at, and I'll send it over to you guys in just a minute or two. Trenton, we got 1249. Robbinsville, closer to about 1259. This is going to be with us, this active weather that we have now, for a couple of hours. Okay, this is not going to be dying down in the next 15, 20 minutes or anything like that. And it is going to be moving from west to east, and it will continue to impact everybody in that path from west to east. And when I say that, what I mean is in the form of everything I just mentioned: the heavy rain, the strong winds, the lightning as well. It's not just confined to the city of Philadelphia at this time. So I'm going to do a wider track, and then I'll get a hyper local track for you. So let's take the leading edge of this strong. Let's take you all the way down. Friends and family down the shore. Here we are mid-June. I'm sure you got a lot of people down there. Here's Tom's River at 132. So Seaside Heights, a lot of people are going to be there. We're talking about 1 to 2, maybe 3 o'clock down the shore. And that's what we're going to be watching. All right, guys, looking right now, we got the severe thunderstorm warning, no tornado warnings out. What are you guys seeing over there?
Seeing pretty much the same thing you're seeing, of course, Bill, but I am looking at one cell here, and Grant, you may have seen this one as well. This one right here, this is moving into Salem County. So as I zoom in, you can start to see, we talked about this earlier, when you see a little bit of an inflow notch, this notching you see right here near Mannington, near Salem. There is a little bit of a velocity signature with that one. I wouldn't be shocked to see a tornado warning issued for that particular cell as it moves into Salem County. But again, as Bill was mentioning, this is just a very intense cluster of storms, any one of which could produce straight line wind gusts over 70 miles an hour.
And the lightning in itself is dangerous.
Exactly.
Even if we didn't have these damaging winds and this threat for a tornado, the lightning itself should drive you inside to keep you away from any windows. I mean, over 100 lightning strikes over, some portions just within the last 10 to 15 minutes. So a very electric and dangerous storm. And Kate, I mean, that cell that was moving just out of Wilmington and then tracking to the northeast, going right across the Delaware, the rotation is intensifying. It looks like it's beginning to spin up a little bit. It's moving across water, so there's a little less friction with that. But I do think they're just near Salem and Piles Grove. that's an area of concern as that heavy rain and those gusty winds begin to roll in.
And let's take a look at this rain as well, because if we focus in on, just to query this is just a radar estimate, but if you can see that, that's estimating that this rain is coming down at the rate of over 5 inches per hour. So these are blinding downpours with this rain that's coming through. And this is moving again to the east, basically east-northeast. I think it's basically moving due east. And again, if we track it, Bill just tracked it out for us, but I just want to show you as we pull this out, if you're in this area, especially down here, this is the area. Now, this is kind of a less populated area than what we're looking at a little bit further north. But Philadelphia, at the airport, about 12:15, that's when the worst of this will cross through your area. Cherry Hill by 12:31. But if you're in Vineland, again, you're right on the edge of this. That's by 12:40, and this still has a lot to work with. One thing I wanted to pull up here just briefly is basically what we call thunderstorm fuel. It's like available energy. It's called CAPE, convective available potential energy. And what we're looking at, this is basically the greatest area of instability for storms to work with. And right now it's maximized over South Jersey and Delaware. So that cell that's moving into Salem County is likely basically the next area that we'll want to focus on as far as where these storms could go next and where we could see some more additional rotation. I don't know if you want to take over on this side.
One note, I'm trying to survey a lot of crowdsourced reports of damage. We haven't gotten any official reports of damage yet.
Not yet.
However, we're getting some preliminary reports of some large hail within this. And to your point about the heavy rainfall, that large hail can be reflected as very heavy rainfall on the radar. So we've gotten reports of hail at least the size of an inch. So that's about the size of a quarter, and that can cause damage along with that tornado and in just straight line wind threat.
Right.
Let's send things. Jim Donovan standing by with a couple more updates.
Thank you very much, Grant. We're going to take a break right now. A reminder, when we're not on television, you can track storms and check the forecast anytime online on cbsphiladelphia.com/weather. But we'll be right back. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Jim Donovan here at CBS News Philadelphia. As we've been reporting all morning long here, severe weather hitting our area right now. You're looking at our roof cam facing Center City, Philadelphia. You can see the skies very ominous there. Throughout the area, weather's been coming in the past hour or so. Right now, this is a live shot of Spring Garden Street. Again, rain coming down, very dark skies there. We then go to Head House Square. This is in Society Hill. Again, a little clearer there. And then finally, Ocean City, our shore cams, the CBS News Philadelphia shore cam down in Ocean City. Our team of meteorologists is tracking the storms. We'll be back with an updated timing of these storms when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. We've seen some tornado warnings in our area, and we're continuing to track storms. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly with your next weather alert. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Jim. So the good news is we do not have tornado warnings right now, but I want to show you where our severe thunderstorm warnings are. I'm going to track it out for you, and then we're going to take you a little bit later into the afternoon. I want to give you a little bit of a different look, though, okay? So this is the radar in motion. I'll put the radar on, and what I'm going to do for just a second is I'm going to drop the radar itself so we can kind of show you, and you can see, here's Philadelphia. So we're up into Bucks County, Montgomery County, and areas farther to the south. So that's where the severe thunderstorm warning is, and this drapes right on down through Camden County, Gloucester, Salem County. It's this entire area with these storms moving from the west to the east where we have that severe thunderstorm warning. It's actually 2 warnings, but it is severe, not tornado at this particular time. Now let me track it out for you. Again, it is moving from the west to the east. So I'm going to start to the north here. We're going to move up into Bucks County, bring it right down into Philadelphia. Let's do this track first and take it across. And what I'm sampling right now is the leading edge of this stronger storm. You folks in this box have weather outside right now. You're probably hearing the thunder, seeing some of the lightning, but I'm tracking this edge here for the timing. And this one would put it in Camden in about 7-8 minutes, something like that. Philadelphia right now, essentially, this edge. And we do have some of those storms in our area now. Cherry Hill right around 12:30, as you can see. Northampton at 12:35. Bensalem 12:36. So you get the point as we move into the next 20 minutes or so. This will continue to roll through Bucks County, approach Mercer County, Levittown, Fairless Hills, 12:47, down to the south into Salem County. Now let me track the southern edge of this storm and take you a little farther for you folks in Salem and the areas that I was mentioning off to the south. There's a brand new sample that just came in, brand new scan. We'll take this one and let's take it out just the next 30 minutes. We're not going to go out at this point for a couple of hours, but we'll go Deptford at 1222, Waterford at 1244. You see the cities here, Vineland, Millville, that's going to be closer to about 1241, 1240. What you're going to experience on this, very strong winds, very prolific lightning. I mean, a lot of lightning in the air. So the sound of thunder is going to be just off and on. If you have pets that are bothered by that, they're probably going to be freaking out for an hour or so. I mean, that's just the way that it is as it moves across. More than 100 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, and then this storm will continue to roll off to the east and will eventually approach the shore as we get into the next couple of hours. But look at the southern edge of this. I mean, here's a new warning down here into far southern Kent County, area, Sussex County, actually off to the south. There's a new storm. There's more that is behind this, and so that's what we're tracking. Kate and Grant, we were talking about, okay, this is the immediate. This is what we have right now. Let me look before I send it over. We do not have any tornado warnings. The language is tornadoes are possible. It's severe warnings, but it's all part of a bigger storm. Why don't we talk about what's going on the rest of the day?
Right. So, I mean, we're getting these reports, and Bill, you're tracking it in real time, showing what's happening or what our instruments tell us is happening. But what's actually happening on the ground, the only way we know about it is when we get reports from you at home. And of course, we need you to stay safe and not go out into the storm. So there's going to be a delay in the time that something might happen to when we might get a report. And we're just now starting to get some of these reports coming in from areas to the west that saw the storms first.
Right. And if you remember, when you went on the air right at 11 o'clock, we had a tornado warning for Lancaster County. That was it. And we were saying this is probably going to continue. We're going to keep watching it. So now Lancaster County is coming in with some reports right now.
Yeah, a couple of reports. And I just want to show you this because this will give you an idea of what could potentially be in other places with these storms moving through. Trees and wires down on mobile homes. So that's estimated around 1052. That was for Coreyville. And then also Smithville reporting multiple trees and branches down and wires there along Lancaster Pike. So we'll likely continue to see more of these damage reports come in as this whole area of severe weather advances into South Jersey, moving through Delaware, and of course moving through Philadelphia as we speak. Overall, a risk for severe weather looks greatest across South Jersey into Delaware, but even in that marginal risk area, of course, that's where we've seen the severe weather so far today, Kate. So it's really anywhere across the entire CBS Philadelphia area, and these storms continue to move east.
That's right. So the area of greatest risk, and we've been telling you this all day, was South Jersey and Delaware, but these storms have, for lack of a better term, overperformed a bit in an area that didn't even have great dynamics for severe weather. These storms really blew up and turned severe very quickly. We do have also one unconfirmed spotter report of hail about an inch in diameter near Valley Forge. An inch diameter hail is about the size of a quarter, so that is very large hail, and that would put it at the severe threshold. So we are going to continue to see more of those reports come in. You can see the timing here between now and 1 p.m. here in Philadelphia, 12 to 3 or now to 3 toward the shore, and then this will likely be off the coast by 4 p.m. if not sooner. The only kind of saving grace, the good news about this, is it's moving pretty quickly. That also is an indication that it's being driven by these very strong straight line winds, but it's going to be in and it's going to be out, and then it does look like the rest of your day does get a bit better, Grant.
Yeah, moving quickly, so that means it could catch you off guard, you know, and that's the thing. Out ahead of some of these storms, it's sunny. It's actually a nice afternoon, or afternoon now. It's 12:20. But look at Center City right now. This is one of the storms moving through. You see, even on this shot, you see over on the right side of the screen, it's a little bit brighter, and then over on the left, that's not only darker clouds, obviously, but that's where that really heavy rainfall is, and embedded within that, we could get some of that pea to nickel, even quarter size hail. And once you get up to that quarter size to an inch diameter hail, that's where you could get some damage. I want to run you through our latest forecast model. We just got this latest model run in, taking you into the afternoon. You'll see that threat for storms pushes out towards the east. We'll see a couple of spotty showers continue into the first half of the overnight, but I do think, and I want to run it back there. I know I blew through really fast. I want to pause it there right around 1:30, 2 o'clock. That's when we see the area that's producing the severe weather in southwestern Jersey and to Gloucester and Camden County into Philadelphia. That moves to the east across South Jersey, down the shore by around 1:30, and then it continues to push out towards the east. Now, Kate, I mean, probably not seeing severe weather later this afternoon, but still some rain.
Still some scattered showers on the back end of this evening, but it is notably faster with that latest model run, that fresh data that we just got in, showing this almost off the coast by 2 o'clock, an indication of how fast it's moving, but also how strong the winds are. Stay tuned. More weather when we come back.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:24 here on this very active Friday afternoon, tracking the severe thunderstorm warnings around the area, including the greater Philadelphia area, where right now we're just in the teeth of it with all the lightning. We're talking about, the strong winds, the hail potential. So it's from Philadelphia up to Bucks and Montgomery County, down to the south, Camden, Gloucester, Salem County. These are the active warnings that we have. The one in around Philadelphia we're talking about, the northern one, that's until 12:45. Same thing with the other. The northern one is still has the language that we could be talking about a tornado possible. No tornado warnings at this time. It is just heavy rain right up 95. I mean, the entire drive from Bucks County all the way down and beyond is extremely active right now weather-wise. It's good to just not leave your house if you don't have to at the moment. Let this pass on by. I mean, look at all these lightning strikes down into parts of New Jersey and then all the way a little bit farther south into sections of Delaware. Here's the wider track for you as we make our way into the afternoon. Vineland at 12:38, Mullica at 1 o'clock, Toms River right around 1:30, Long Beach at 1:40. So over the next couple of hours, we'll continue to, I expect the severe thunderstorm warnings to be extended. The possibility is going to be there for a tornado. And what I'm watching is the velocity data. And there are some areas right in here where it's really bright. That is a straight line wind, but it is a very strong wind. Jim, it's an active afternoon. We'll keep you updated if there are any tornado warnings.
Thank you, Bill. And that's the news for today at noon. I'm Jim Donovan for Grant, Kate, Bill, and all of us here. Thanks so much for watching. We'll continue to monitor the weather throughout the afternoon, and we'll be back at 4, if not earlier, if more storms break out. The Young and the Restless is coming up next.
Good afternoon to you. I'm CBS News Philadelphia meteorologist Grant Gilmore. Just in more severe weather to tell you about. This one, another tornado warning. This just issued for Burlington. So right there in the Pemberton area, tornado warning that runs until we're looking at 1:30 this afternoon. It also includes Ocean County. So this cell with that threat for a tornado is moving to the east right around 35 to 40 miles per hour. I want to take you right down and show you where this is and who is in the line of the storm. It's actually moving very close to the radar site, but Pemberton, Southampton, Presidential Lakes Estates, Burrs Mill, everybody in those areas need to seek shelter immediately. Get to that safe place and get yourself out of harm's way of this potential tornado. We've started to see the velocity or the spin within this storm really ramp up quickly here within the last 5 to 10 minutes. I want to turn on that velocity mode or that part of the radar that's able to see the spin, and that is an increasingly impressive couplet, we call it, or area where you have the winds moving in different directions very quickly here. And I'll just show you generally where it is. We're looking at that hook right in there, and that's that spin that's beginning to turn and potentially produce this tornado. So Presidential Lake Estates there in Burlington County, you need to make sure you get to the safe place. Browns Mills, also out towards White's Bog. You're all within this tornado warning. Again, a tornado warning issued for Burlington and Ocean County until 1:30 this afternoon. So looping over the last 30 minutes, you start to see that hook begin to develop right there on the radar just to the east of Southampton right now. It's moving quickly to the east-northeast, right around 40 miles per hour. Let's put a track on it and show you where this is heading because it's moving quickly. It's going to creep up on you, and that's why we got in real quick to get this information to you as quickly as possible. A couple of places, Browns Mills, right around 103 Hanover Furnace, right at 107, Buckingham 111, Crestwood Village at 117, and Manchester arriving right around 119. This tornado warning goes until 1:30, and it's going to cover a good bit of real estate as it moves out of Burlington County into Ocean County. Farther to the south, we still have other severe thunderstorm warnings. So at the very northern edge of this line, we have a little rotation. That's what we're tracking for that tornado threat. But farther south into the rest of Burlington County, an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning because of the threat for 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch diameter hail, all of which can cause damage and nothing that you want to be out in. So this is the current threat right now, ongoing tornado warning, and even farther to the south in extreme South Jersey, just a large area underneath the severe thunderstorm warning, really including all of South Jersey. Anywhere that line goes, expect severe weather. A lot of lightning showing up on the radar as well. So it's lightning, it's multiple threats from the wind, the hail, the tornado threat, in addition to that very electric side of the storm, which has already started a couple of fires because of the lightning striking some structures. So Burlington County, tornado warning running until 1:30. We're looking at Country Lake Estates and then Browns Mill, the next immediate towns there in the path of the storm. We're looking at Hanover Furnace as well as the system moves out towards Buckingham, Ocean County. Now, Johnson Place, you're just south, all right? So you're just south of this tornado warning. Still not an area that I would want to be in outside. Get inside, put as many walls between that outside severe threat and you as these storms move through. South Park, also, the rain's going to pick up very quickly. There's a very sharp gradient between just relatively calm conditions and then intense rainfall and gusty winds. Trailing behind that, Shamong, intense rainfall. That's going to last probably for the next 20 minutes or so, and then this severe threat will clear out. A little farther south down towards Winslow, that rain should begin to let up and the storm should begin to let up within 20 minutes as well. Farther to the east, down the shore, Toms River, you've got an isolated storm out ahead of this severe line arriving. That will clear out. That's not the storm. Stay in your safe place, stay inside, wait for that severe threat to move out to your area within the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. Also, a couple of isolated showers down towards Little Egg Harbor. This is not the line for you. This is just an isolated storm out ahead of it. You have more severe weather heading your way. But anywhere within South Jersey, especially farther to the east, away from Philadelphia, heading down the shore, this line of storms, this line of severe storms is heading in your direction. But most importantly, we are wanting to make sure you know about this tornado threat right now. And the radar signature continues to suggest quite a bit of rotation within that. If you look right there, even an untrained eye can see that couplet and that notch of that wind being sucked up into that storm and that rotation that's happening right now as that storm moves out towards the east. I want to get even closer here because this is an increasingly indicative signature, radar signature of a tornado potentially on the ground. I don't think we've gotten confirmation of it right now, but just by looking at the radar, I think we have to assume that there is a tornado on the ground, and certainly a likelihood of that as that couplet really starts to show a little bit more signs of a strengthening rotation there. So winds heading away from the radar there in Browns Mill and just to the south north of Presidential Estates. That's very strong wind heading toward the radar. So there's your spin and there's your rotation and potentially looking at a tornado that may be on the ground just to the west of Whitesbog. Right there. So that's what we're tracking right now. A whole line of severe storms. So it's not just this tornado threat for Burlington and Ocean County, but all down through South Jersey. Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly standing by here with some more analysis of this storm. Bill, this is probably the most impressive signature that we've seen on this velocity mode all day.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I was looking at the exact same thing you were looking at right here. And this is called the velocity data, and it shows you the direction and the speed. So right in here, these shades of blue, when we're looking at the green on the velocity. In fact, here, take a closer look. Look at this on the big picture. This is where those the winds are coming in at an incredible speed. If I sample this for you, this is what we're looking at. A 69 to 70 mile per hour wind just right there, just from the radar. And then, of course, when you get some of that rotation around the area, you're going to see that things are going to be moving in and out of that. So here's what it looks like right now in terms of the tornado warning. The current warning is up until 1:30. And Grant was talking about this. In fact, if you want to pop this on over to Max 1, I'll show you exactly what we're looking at here. You folks in Burlington County and Ocean County, and specifically, if I go on down and we're going to zoom on and give you, this is actually Max 3. I'm going to go over to, let me switch this on over to Max 1. There we go. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so this area right here, let me put the tornado warning on for you. I'm going to just put this and talk about it specifically. Browns Mill. You folks have to be in your tornado, please. I shouldn't say have to. Please be in your tornado precaution areas now. Center part of your house. Basement if you have it. That is the ideal situation. Presidential Lakes Estates. I'm taking you out and then I'm going to put a track on it for you, a fresh track, like Grant was telling you, moving at 40 miles per hour. So this thing's racing along. Here's Buckingham. And what we're really focused in on is this area of red right in here. This is the tornado warning polygon that extends out to Manchester at this particular time up until 1:30. And that is because the National Weather Service was looking at this. They say, okay, we see right in here, right around Browns Mill, there's a fresh lightning strike for you folks. They're just north of Presidential Lakes Estates. Right in here is where the National Weather Service, via the radar, is seeing rotation. And it's even more concerning now because here's the radar. It's just outside of Buckingham in Ocean County here. This is the radar. So where the radar is looking at the storm is very close. And why that makes a difference, in fact, if I just look at the distance, this storm is only 9 to 10 miles away from the radar. The radar beam looks out. And it looks up and it looks out. Well, the farther you are away from the radar, because the Earth curves, the higher up naturally it's looking in the storm. When you're 5 to 10 miles away from the radar, this radar, even at the lowest level, is probably looking up about 500, maybe 700 feet. Really close, relatively speaking, to the surface. Meaning that when we look at that and we look at, let me go back to this product here. This is what's called the velocity data, and you see these really bright shades of green and even blue. That's picking up very strong winds that much closer. This is not at 5,000 feet, 7,000 feet in the atmosphere. This is pretty much right overhead by a few hundred feet. And then you see right in here, I'm going to zoom down hyper-local for you, because this is likely what the National Weather Service is looking at right in here. Again, we bring up Browns Mill. If you know anybody here, you can help us, by the way. All of you watching, you can help us be part of the story. If you know somebody that's here, you can help protect. Quick text, quick call. I mean, there's so many ways to communicate with people now and say, hey, I'm sure you've heard, but in case you haven't, there's a tornado warning. White's Bog, mom, dad, grandpa, friend. Please be careful with this. Don't go outside. Don't go to your window. Don't look. We have some, a little bit muddied, granted, but there is a little bit of rotation that is showing up here at definitely under 1,000 feet. So this is low, right? This is really low. A tornado is a rotating column of air that touches the ground. If not, it's a funnel cloud if you see it and it's attached. But when it touches the ground, it is a tornado. So it's this area that we're focused in on. Now, with that being said, let me track it out for you. And I'm going to really hyper-focus right here where we're seeing, if nothing else, these very strong straight line winds. But there is definitely rotation on that. So let's use that. I'm going to take just kind of the leading edge right in here. And let's draw this out. And let's go just 20 minutes, okay? Give you some lead time here for 20 minutes. Hanover Furnace, 108. My clock says 107. So essentially right now is where it's at. White's Bog, we talked about you folks, 110. A few minutes from now. Get your family. If they're outside, by golly, bring them on in for sure. You don't want them outside. There's a lot of lightning with this. And, of course, the severe potential and the tornadic potential as well. Buckingham, 113. Roosevelt City, 118. So now we're talking about 10 minutes from now. Some warning time, not a ton, but there's warning time. Maybe you know somebody that's driving, workers that are out and about at job sites. Anything like that, please help us get the message out, because a lot of times people driving, that's the bad one. Car is a very bad place to be in a tornado. Not a good place. You want to stop and get into a structure like a gas station, fast food restaurant, any business that's around, if you know anybody that's out and about in a car during a tornado warning, for sure. Crestwood Village, that's at 121. Manchester, right around 123. And this warning, as we said, at this point goes until 1:30 p.m. And actually, while we're talking, I'm going to draw up my National Weather Service chat here just to make sure nothing else has been issued. We'll pull that up. All right, so that is the tornado part and why we are on the air covering this. And that's what we do, by the way, here at Next Weather. Our primary job, our most important job that we do is to help keep you and your family safe. And this is a dangerous situation, absolutely dangerous situation. That's why when there are tornado warnings issued, we are going to jump on and we are going to cover them for you. I know there's programming on. Many of you may be tuning in saying, hey, I was here to watch my show. We're going to cover the tornado warning, help people, you and your family safe until this threat is over. I want to put this in. I want to zoom on back down. Let me put the warning for just joining us. The warning itself, the tornado warning is in this box, and we're focused in, though, kind of on the northern edge. The National Weather Service puts in this area that's wide, but where the focus is, and we keep bringing up Browns Mills. This here shows you that the red that you're seeing, notice how everything is that green shade. That means the winds are moving toward the radar, okay? But where you see red, that means winds are moving away from the radar. And why that's important and why we look at this product, I know there's a lot of colors and a lot of this and that, but what we're watching is when the winds are moving toward the radar in this direction, and then you see a little area of red, it's moving the opposite direction. And so that is where we want to focus in, right in here for the highest probability of there being a tornado. So if we do that and we zoom down, I mean, let's take you straight down to the street level here. You got Lakeshore Drive. I mean, this is probably, now that the scan's moving a little bit farther off to the east, so I'm going to break that down for you. Lakehurst Road. We've been talking about White's Bog. Here's Hanover Furnace. Let's get you even a little bit more localized. Let's zoom this on down and put some streets on here, literally for. If you hear the name of your street, I definitely want you to take that tornado precaution, get into the lowest level of your house. And that actually, that sound that you heard tells me that the word tornado was popped up. That is the National Weather Service continuing the tornado warning until 1:30. I'm just going to read here for you. It is and I'm going to leave it super localized. Here, there's White's Bog. We're talking about this area right in here, Lakehurst Road. We have White's Bog Road. A severe squall line, which is a line of severe weather, essentially, capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage. Okay, so tornado is rotating wind, straight line is exactly that. The winds are going in one direction. Extensive straight line wind damage was located over Browns Mills. That's what we've been talking about for you folks. Or 17 miles west of Toms River. They've updated, the National Weather Service has updated the speed. And by the way, here's a brand new what's called a scan, and you can see that's where it was before. It's moving out. So this area here, Hanover Furnace, we really want to focus and keep you guys up to date with this one here because, again, not classic. It's not a textbook tornado signature, but there's certainly some rotation in here. No doubt about it in my mind within this area of the tornado warning. Moving at 45 miles per hour. So when we do that, let me update the track. I can do it right here on the fly with all of you. So I'm going to change this to 45 miles per hour. That's the new sample. I'm going to really get hyper-local, like right in here where that rotation is. And let's take you out again over the next 15 minutes. I mean, we're so local that not a ton of cities are popping up on here, so I'll go wider. 126 for Manchester, Hanover Furnace sitting at 112. Grant, while I'm sitting here and thinking, if you could scan some social media and just see if we have any, whether it's the NWS or any of our local outlets that we look at. And let me know if you see anything there that's
sure.
that you want to talk
about.
Well,
Bill, one thing, I mean, obviously with this tornado threat moving through Burlington into Ocean County right now, no reports coming in from that immediate cell, but a lot of other reports from when these storms were moving through western New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, through the Philly area. We've had a lot of reports of large hail up there between a ½ inch to an inch in diameter, and then also a couple of lightning strikes that have caused some fires and a few downed trees and some power outages back into places in Lancaster County out towards Chester County. So this storm, even though it's not producing, quote, any reports immediately, it does have a history of producing some damage. So I think that's something to keep in mind, and also note that this line of storms has strengthened as it's been moving across South Jersey right now. And we're most immediately concerned with this tornado warning right now, right there, Country Lake Estates heading out towards Manchester, but all down to the south. Now, I know there's a lot going on this map right now, and there's a lot of weather that is happening, but this orange line right there, that is the edge of a polygon for a severe thunderstorm warning. that is potentially producing, or that severe storm is potentially producing, those 60 to 65 mile per hour straight line winds, which arguably could be just as damaging and dangerous as a tornado itself. You just get a lot more localized and dense damage with the tornado, but you could get more widespread damage all along this squall line that Bill was talking about. And as I zoom out, you see that line, that squall line of severe weather continues all the way down to Cape May. Even though there's not a severe thunderstorm warning right now for Cape May, it's all along that same line of storms. And then, of course, all of the lightning bolts as well. And that's the concern for a lightning bolt striking something and catching it on fire as well. So all of this moving very quickly to the east at around 40 to 45 miles per hour. I want to do just a general squall line track to the east. Now I'm just going to take it right to the shore here. So anywhere along there, Brick 138, we've got Belmar 143, areas to the west, Jackson a little bit sooner than that, around 121. But of course, we're looking at this tornado warning and that threat for a tornado on the ground. We haven't gotten that report of that, Bill, right? Because anything we need to be, anybody that would report it needs to be inside, and we don't need you looking for it. We need you protecting yourself from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been scanning the National Weather Service. No tornado confirmation right now. Looking at just the different storm reports you were talking about coming in, which, like you said, takes time. The weather happens. It passes by, the reports come in, then they get ingested into the system, and then we see them on the air. So there's always a lag time, but we start to see these reports rolling in, and there's quite a bit of them. We had the lightning strike on a house. That was a fire in Montgomery County. So we'll continue to roll those. We'll get to that in just a moment. Here's what I did. I want to track out, this is the same tornado warning that we were getting hyper local for you. I now want to widen this out, and I'm going to take you a little bit further in time. Past the warning, you can actually see the warning right here, the line, the polygon red line there. So this goes well beyond the warning. But it's important because I want to show you 130 Toms River. So that puts it over near Seaside Heights, of course, just crossing on over the bay. Let's say 135, something like that. 140. Point Pleasant at 142. There are so many people down the shore right now. Obviously, it's mid-June, people enjoying. And it's just important to let people know, and your friends and family, because you're out on the beach. That's not something you can just go into a structure real quick. You're gonna have, most people are gonna have their blankets and their umbrella, or the chairs and the kids, and they're playing in the pool. It takes some time, and if you're a parent with kids, you know what I'm talking about. It takes a long time to gather everybody up. So I want you to get this word to these people that are down, your friends and family that are down the shore right now, not just in this box, not just Seaside Heights or Long Beach Island, all the way down. Let's go all the way down to Cape May. Heck, we can go all the way down to Rehoboth Beach, Bethany, Dewey, areas farther off to the south. If you know anybody that is down the shore, I think it's extremely important now, extremely important, as we have this entire line that Grant was just talking about, and I'm going to track out the line for a moment, that has a ton of lightning. Every emblem strike here is a cloud-to-ground lightning strike, which, of course, is the deadly kind. If it's within the cloud or from one cloud to another, it's loud, it's scary, but it's not deadly. It's not striking the ground, buildings, trees, people, that type of thing. Every one of these emblems are, and the lightning strike, and I'm just kind of backing a second from the tornado warning, which I will get to. We will come back to it. Nothing's changed. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. They're going to continue it with tornado possible in the warning south of where the current warning is. Lightning does not factor into the equation from a quantifiable standpoint, meaning, hey, there's 1,000 lightning strikes, therefore we're issuing a severe thunderstorm warning. Lightning strikes are independent. Severe weather is defined by winds at 58 miles per hour or greater, hail an inch in diameter or greater, or, of course, a tornado. But oftentimes, a lot of lightning comes certainly with severe thunderstorms. But this storm has a lot of lightning, and that is very dangerous, and that's dramatically understated. Let me extend this out. Okay, so I want to show you. Here's what we're looking at. We're going to say, what do we got? Beach Haven. So here we're on Long Beach Island, 144. And so it's this, when you look at this last line here within our track. So this line here, this last one, is going to be in that, let's say, 140 to 150 time frame. Okay, so now let's zoom on down. Sea Isle City is much sooner than that. So Sea Isle City here, we're looking at, I can actually use, let's do another track. This is going to be probably in the next 15 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes. So here's Sea Isle City. In fact, let me me just take this off so you can see what I'm talking about. Sea Isle City, this is another 15 minutes or so. There's Cape May. It's knocking on the door of Cape May right now within the next couple of minutes. And look at all this lightning out over Delaware Bay. Incredible. So that's going to be very, very dangerous with that one. You're driving up the Garden State Turnpike or Parkway, and then you're going to be going up here. This is Atlantic City, not there yet. Brigantine, but it's going down the Atlantic City Expressway over Mays Landing right now, heading toward Egg Harbor. We go up to the north. Here's Beach Haven, Long Beach Island. Of course, there's Barnegat Light in the north end of that. And then we get up into Seaside Heights and areas a little bit farther north into Ocean County. So this line here, if we just one more time, and then we're going to go specifically back to that tornado warning. And let me just extend this out like this. I mean, it puts it in. There's Egg Harbor in 26, so that's only 7 minutes from now. So now is the time to tell anybody you know that is down at the ocean, they're at the beach, they need to get in. They have to get in. They might not be thinking about it this far away. If they're not looking, they're certainly not hearing the thunder yet from this. It's too far away. Thunder you can really only hear within about 5 miles. So they're not quite hearing it yet. And by the time they hear it, it may be a little late if they have a big group. So please, 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 I cannot emphasize that enough. Get the word out. What do you got, Grant? What'd you say?
There was several reports from law enforcement of a funnel cloud at Pemberton Township near, let's see, the vicinity of Country Lake. So that's that exact area where we were looking at that good rotation on the radar, or at least the indication suggesting the tornado. Several reports of a funnel cloud. That doesn't mean that there was a tornado on the ground, but there was certainly a funnel coming down, and whether or not it actually touched down, I say is irrelevant because it's dangerous, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was just reports coming out of Burlington County and Pemberton law enforcement. They're reporting that. And then we're also continuing this tornado warning that's going to go until 1:30, like you said, going into Ocean County right now.
Yeah, so there it is. And what's really unique about this particular tornado warning, it is right over top of the radar. I mean, it's sitting over top of the radar. So if there's anything happening at the surface, this radar is picking it up right now. What you have right here is actually called a cone of silence around the radar, where there's not any data because it's so close. But as we look at this very close, I mean, just right, I mean, talk about street level. Here's the radar itself spinning around, and we're looking at wind. So what I'm going to scan for within this is where I see any, I mean, you know, just if you're in this area, it's not, you know, jumping out to me like, hey, here is the tornado specifically. If anything, it's probably right over the radar, to be honest with you. But the radar is spinning around. We got some stronger winds that are out here ahead of it. National Weather Service, as Grant just mentioned, is going to continue to keep this tornado warning in effect until 1:30. That's 9 more minutes. And then what they're going to do is they're going to reevaluate. They're going to look, especially since it's this close to the radar. I mean, it literally gives a picture of the surface 10, 20 feet above the surface. And so that really helps tell that story there. And if they extend that on out. But this area here, we talked about into Ocean County, the same cities we've been mentioning. Manchester is going to be one of those places. Please take your tornado precautions anywhere around this. And I would go beyond that. Pine Lake Park, there's Toms River, not in the tornado warning at this time, but certainly it's going to be close, and you're going to get a lot of the strong winds. You're going to get the straight line winds, if nothing else, and the lightning as well. But just all these holiday heights, you know, people out camping. I try to think of these things that people are doing in the summertime and what I would do if you know anybody that is camping. And this is not confined, once again, not just where this tornado warning is. I'm talking about anywhere ahead of these strong lines of storms. You know anybody that's there, the best place to be is in obviously a shelter. Bathrooms, campgrounds have usually brick bathrooms, right? Sometimes they're just outhouses. That's a very unsafe place to be, certainly. But if it's in a brick building, brick out building, that's where you want to be. As many walls between you and the outside as possible, preferably something that is a little more grounded. Lightning strikes, we were talking about that and just how many there are. If I sample this, if I take this box right here and I just go within the heart of this cell, we have now 256 cloud to ground lightning strikes, meaning that lightning is hitting the ground or something on it, whether it's a car, a building, a tree, you know, everything is fair game. at the surface, and that's why it's vitally important. Whenever I see this much lightning, and you get these new ones that are popping on, we have this set for 15 minutes. Every emblem is within the last 15 minutes, not within the last hour to, glamorize the map and make it look more scary. These are just 15-minute intervals. And so when we see this, and the number's changing, by the way, it's real time. Some tick off after 15 minutes and some will tick on as we get new strikes. But this is, Grant, the lightning is really concerning me on this one. The tornado warning, we're monitoring it. It looks like they're expiring the severe thunderstorm warning for parts of that. They have not extended the tornado warning. So knowing that it's summer, knowing that a lot of kids now are out of school, knowing that there's going to be a lot of people outside, the lightning part of this, I think, is a massive story when it comes to tracking the severe storm. Agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just a lot of lightning in a small area, too. It's a lot of lightning all along this entire squall line heading right toward the shore from Burlington County, Ocean County, down the coast, Atlantic County, Cape May as well. Even though Cape May technically not underneath a severe thunderstorm warning at this point, still a lot of lightning within that storm. And one thing, Bill, I think that's worth noting, you mentioned how that cell and that potential tornado or the funnel cloud that we saw is moving right over the radar site. That radar dome is about 100 feet above the ground. And as it sends its signal out to be able to look into the atmosphere, to look into these storms to see what's going on, it might actually be missing where that tornado signature could be.
Right.
And I'm zooming in really close. You can see this is the radar. See how there's that gap there, that circle? That is where the radar is not able to actually see what's going on in the atmosphere until it reaches maybe more up around 300 to 400 feet. So that beam is going up into the atmosphere. So as we zoom out, you can see, and I'm going to go backwards here, the part of the storm that we were concerned about potentially producing this tornado. We've had a report of a funnel cloud. That part of the storm moved very close to that cone of silence where we're not able to see. So that's a real concern to know exactly what's happening on the ground. And we're just going to say anybody within that red polygon there, that tornado warning, you need to assume that there's a tornado on the ground. So that includes Manchester, and that includes points even out towards the east. Even outside of that tornado warning, we've got Lakewood, Jackson there in Ocean County, Pine Lake Park. Not much going on right now, but I guarantee it will change quickly as that leading edge of that whole squall line moves to the east. And just now we're getting at least notice that they're expiring the tornado warning for Ocean County. So National Weather Service at least seeing enough to say, all right, the tornado threat has subsided, which we sort of saw that as it approached the radar. But that ongoing severe thunderstorm threat all down the shore, all through eastern New Jersey, is going to continue. And I'll loop this, and I'm going to put the lightning back on, Bill, because like you mentioned, to get back to your point, that's a lot of lightning. That's dangerous. You don't want to mess with lightning. It's all down that line, with or without that severe thunderstorm warning.
Absolutely. And it's a really unique position to have that tornado warning and the part of the storm that had the tornado literally go over the radar. I don't know if I've seen that quite like that.
It doesn't happen often.
No, it does not happen often. I mean, it's like it's a needle there when you're talking about it. Let me show you. I want to continue Grant's coverage here and focus on this. So we still have the same product, which is the rotation. It's called velocity. And what we're looking at, what National Weather Service is looking at as well. Here's Manchester. The threat for you guys is still there, but it's moving off to the east. So almost in the all clear here for you guys with this storm when it comes to tornado. But now that it's close enough, the National Weather Service saying, okay, I'm seeing strong winds, but I'm not seeing the rotation part of this. So therefore, we're dropping the severe thunderstorm warning, the tornado warning, but we keep the severe thunderstorm warning part that does go all the way down the shore and beyond. So here's what I want to track out for you, because I think it's just very important to give you the timing. A fresh track. We're going to go over Forks River. We're going to take it to Seaside Heights. Toms River, 129. Last time was 130. So what that tells us is that things are holding together and moving at exactly the pace that we're tracking it out for you. Barnegat, this is 132. I have 127 on my clock right now. So that's just about 5 more minutes away. Another thing I haven't brought up yet, boy, a terrible place to be in these is in a boat. And there's so many up there at the Barnegat Lighthouse in that area, the marina. I mean, there's so many boats that go out in Barnegat Bay, not as many in the ocean, of course, but at this time of year, I hope that you're just, and again, I'm going to bring it up if you're just joining us, help us get this coverage out. if people are out on the water, boy, that's a bad place to be. They need to get in big time. And I'm sure that if they're in a boat, hopefully they know that, but maybe they don't know that this is heading in their direction. It's just minutes now. Bayshore at 135, Seaside Heights 137. Folks out there on the rides and, you know, water park and that type of thing. Barnegat Light at 140. Okay, so that's when the very strong winds are going to arrive. What I did is I tracked there from the leading edge of this, right? But there's already a cell out ahead of it that's producing lightning. So I was tracking this, but this is already out over here. This right here is, this is the island. This is Seaside Heights right about there. And then, of course, Long Beach. Okay, gotcha. So let's go down. We got to continue with the severe thunderstorm coverage right here. This is what we have, okay? And I'll tell you, we're monitoring it. Next weather team is here. If we get another tornado warning, we will jump on and let you know. Also, too, the programming, and I forgot to mention earlier, I'm so sorry, was on CW57, and that's what we do. Whenever we cover, we like to move our programming over to CW57. All right, so the severe thunderstorm warning for the entire area in South Jersey, including the shore essentially, goes nearly to Cape May, not quite that far. That is up until well, the tornado warning has been expired there. The severe thunderstorm warning is going to remain up until 2:15, essentially, when that expires. After that, skies are going to clear a little bit, and we're going to be tracking another wave working through our area. But lightning is a huge threat with this, huge. Stay indoors until you cannot hear the thunder anymore. Strong winds, certainly. Please get the information out to your friends and family. We're monitoring it. If there's another tornado, we're going to jump on in and let you know. For now, I'm Bill Kelly. For Grant, we'll be back.
Good afternoon to you. I'm CBS News Philadelphia meteorologist Grant Gilmore, continuing to track severe weather. Just wanted to cut in and let you know what's going on and where the, maybe more importantly for you, where the storms aren't and who's in the clear. But an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning pretty much all down the shore. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 2:15. Large hail, 1-inch diameter, also working with the potential for gusty winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, basically down to Strathmere. North along the shore towards Atlantic City, strong gusty winds and frequent lightning coming through, in addition to very heavy rainfall, and that continues right up the shore, basically right along the coastline up to Stafford, Beach Haven, and then farther to the north, continuing to track that squall line as it moves off of the coast into the Atlantic Ocean. But again, severe thunderstorm warning pretty much all along the Jersey shore from Toms River south to Ocean City. Cape May not included in that, but still some heavy rain moving through. I do want to note we have a flash flood warning that remains in effect, essentially from Philadelphia up to Bensalem. This flash flood warning is due to the really heavy rainfall that came in about an hour ago, and now all that water is running down to the lower lying areas. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. That flash flood warning is going to go until 5 o'clock. Also, larger area right along the Delaware, flood advisory in effect until 3:45. So be careful in this area. We've seen a lot of rain over a short period of time that could result in some flooding. Several other reports of some damage from some strong storms as they move through near Pemberton. Also, flood reports right along the Delaware as well, along with a lot of hail reports as well. This line of storms continues to push to the east. The severe threat, though, will begin to clear out as we head through the second half of our afternoon. Still a few trailing showers out there starting to move through State College. Latest run on the model shows you a lot of that clearing out, but again, a small chance for a few isolated showers later this afternoon. If any more severe weather comes to be, we'll let you know about it right here on CBS News Philadelphia, as well as on CBSPhilly.com. Have a safe afternoon.
Hey there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Bill Kelly. Just want to take a minute or two to give you an update as to where we stand weather-wise. I will tell you up front, notably better than it was just a couple of hours ago. Still hanging on to this flash flood warning that includes City of Philadelphia, right up 95 into parts here of Bucks County, say up around Bensalem. We were looking at this. Look at all the rain that has come down. And there were reports from Pennypack Creek that went up over flood stage rather quickly. And that's why the National Weather Service issued that flood warning. But, I mean, you have widespread 1, 2, and even 3-inch rainfall totals where we had the heaviest rain. We picked up over an inch of rain officially in Philadelphia out at the airport. It's the 4th day this year with a day with rainfall over 1 inch. And all of these shades of orange and yellow that cuts across central and South Jersey here, these are all individual pockets that picked up 2 and 3 inches of rainfall. Now, when it comes to the showers and it comes to the storms, they are offshore and they're going to continue to roll offshore. And the lightning on this thing, boy, it is still, fortunately, out over water, not over land anymore, but it continues to rage that direction. Now, the overall big picture, we are into the lull. The first wave came through that we were telling you about, obviously earlier today, and we've been planning you out. The second wave is still back to the west, and here's why we get that second wave. Low pressure cell overhead. Winds around it are clockwise, and this low pressure is going to be moving its way off to the east. And so this stuff here that's in central PA right now, I mean, basically right over State College and approaching, you got Interstate I-80, you're going to go PA Turnpike, all that is going to be making its way here, but not for a couple of hours. The next few hours will give you the green light. If you have kiddos that are out at the pool, that should be good. We're not worried about any of those things. And that's good because we've had a lot of reports of severe weather today, or at least active weather, whether it's severe, whether it happens to be seeing a funnel cloud, or in this case in Montgomery County, a lightning strike that struck a house and actually caused some damage there, caused a fire. But these storm reports will continue to roll on in. We are tracking this, and we'll let you know the timing of this next wave coming through here on our newscast, which is next at 4 o'clock. We'll see you then.